So Ryan, are you familiar with one of the fundamental principles in precision teaching called element compounds, or what you may have also heard of it as like component composite?
I've heard of component composite.
Okay, great. So Rick Kubina, colleague of mine, mentor of mine, has talked about it as element compound, and I've chosen, and some colleagues of mine have chosen to talk about it as element compounds because like component composite has like stumbled us up a little bit because you have to go right? It's very similar words. But element compounds, like you can think of the metaphor of water, right? Think back to elementary chemistry. You have hydrogen and oxygen, these elements that form a compound that's more sophisticated, right? And we can think about these as tool skills, right? So we have tool skills that when formed can create a more sophisticated behavior. You can pinch and grasp and pull, and those are elements that form a compound of zipping, right? So these are fundamental, this element compound analysis. Not only do we find this often in precision teaching, but we also find this as like kind of a pre-subset to behavior analytic instructional design. And it leads us to a nonlinear analysis of human behavior.
So the nonlinear linear stuff, I'm very privy to and very interested in. Can we talk about and pull that a little bit apart? Like, what do you mean by linear versus nonlinear?
Sure. Like sometimes we get in this rut, or we are given assessments or analyses of skills that we're like, here's the next set of skills that you have to follow. And it's kind of presented, maybe unintentionally, but it is presented as a list of skills that you have to follow, right? So we have this assessment and we follow, and it's like, okay, then we do the next 10 set of skills. And it's as if that's how they develop in this linear fashion, but that's not how behavior evolves and develops in repertoires of humans, right? So one skill can lead to two skills, which then can multiply and actually can form more like a web when you map them out, as opposed to a very organized hierarchical list, right? I actually have a visual to show you if you're interested.
Yeah, let's go through that.
You want to geek out with me here?
Yes.
So I'm just going to show you the bird's eye view here so you get the understanding. I am by profession an instructional designer at CentralReach. I'm the director of clinical programming there, and I lead a team of instructional designers. And this is a mapping of our level 1 CR Elements curriculum that we're intend to put on all of our clinical programming solutions. We have Thread, we have Learn, we have Precision X, and we recently just have Behavior Soft. And so this is level 1 learner is young or has rudimentary skills that we're looking to teach them. If you look at, we have it mapped out as green is foundational skills, purple here are motor skills. Then we go to pink is play skills that is splintered around. You see it's not even like grouped in content area. Sometimes it is. Motor was nicely grouped in because we're dealing with those big 6+6 skills, which are really tightly packed together. But we didn't even start with zipping, which you would think is like a really fundamental skill. But like I mentioned, there's some fundamental motor skills before that, right? Then yellow are adaptive skills, but we didn't even unpack that because there's a lot of prerequisites you need before you can do a lot of adaptive skills. Then we get into language skills, which are orange, red are social skills, and then down here, blue are thinking skills. And so, and that's like really complex, sophisticated skills.
I think this points out a couple cool things. Like it shows you the nonlinear a little bit that we can dive into more here. But it shows you, I think, there's some discrepancies sometimes on where people want to start because they see the value in that in society, social skills, language skills,
right.
But where you actually need to begin so that you can have success when you start to teach. That was something I ran into all the time. This like issue as a practitioner where parents, guardians, loved ones, significant others like want to start somewhere, rightfully so, but like if we don't have these other skills, then it doesn't work. So it looks like this is what's being built out. Yes.
As a clinician, yeah, I remember having that conversation so many times. And yeah, you find reinforcing value down here so often, but yet you're going to be, just running around in circles, making very little progress if you don't have some of these fundamental skills. And so having a visual graphic like this helps people understand those prerequisites that need to be in place, I don't know if you're familiar with the assessment and inventory of the good learner repertoire. It's one of my favorites. And, a lot of these skills come from, are linked to that assessment, because that assessment identifies so many very early skills of just like establishing a reinforcer, right? And being able to like tolerating like more time between waiting for a reinforcer, right? And so, and we put in here, like, if you do want to pursue a precision teaching instructional arrangement, then we put in skills to actually how to prepare that learner to be a good precision learner, right? And so we created a precision learner track throughout this these skills. But yeah, so it's really cool. And one thing that you also notice that like it's not just linear within a content area either. It is very interspersed, which you can see like a very good representation of that is your foundational skills, which you see is interspersed. The green is speckled throughout, and the pink is really speckled throughout. And then down here, the oranges or the blue is speckled throughout. So it's like you can't just necessarily even pick a content area and just drive that home, right? You have to intermix between content areas, because you're going to find prerequisites or elements, for some, content area skills from other content areas, right? Mm-hmm. And so having a curriculum that is really integrated across content areas that are not just like, okay, we're just doing language. Well, yeah, but then you're also going to find that you're going to need some like social skills interspersed with that when you get into complex repertoires that deal with executive functioning, because you're going to have to intersperse some social interactions with language to deal with some complex situations when you deal with executive function. So you really need something that's really has multiple domains.
So is it safe to say like the state of practitioners' tools are kind of moving from these assessments or curriculums that are kind of boxed into a linear, it's almost like forced by the medium, like the right. Book's almost forced, like it has to be linear. You're just like,
okay,
right?
What's next on my list?
Yeah, into something that's more of a modern technological product that's like
dynamic.
Yeah, dynamic, exactly. Like predictive or dynamic.
Suggestive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to always respect the knowledge and experience and training of the clinician, and the clinician knows the learner the best, for sure. But, I think that there is going to be a place where say, okay, you have gone through these set of skills, your learners, profiles this, they did this on the assessment, and their data looks like this. We suggest that this is next coming up, right? Do you agree? Do you not agree? Do you suggest something else? And so, that is where I would like to see curriculum go. That's where I like to see, and I think that also helps not only new clinicians, but it helps also educate clinicians in instructional design, because we don't have that many training opportunities, and the instructional design programs that are out there are not behavior analytic instructional design programs. They are all cognitive based with different theories and models. And they're all about adult educating. Like, it's like, okay, so I'm going to teach you like higher learning educating. You're going to learn from this. It's instructional design for people learning from CEUs. It's not this type of instructional design. And this type of instructional design is taught only within very selective, behavior analytic programs, and at best you get one course. So like I would love to see it move this way, and you know, like that's what we're really trying to create at CentralReach. So.
That's very cool. How does this relate back into precision teaching and some of the other stuff that you've shared with us before?
Yeah, so you know, one thing we don't like to tell everyone, like, you must do it this way or this way. So precision teaching is one of the instructional arrangements that you can use when you're deciding what program to run. So you can do precision teaching instruction, or frequency building instruction. You can use discrete trial instruction or naturalistic instruction for any of these programs. But also instructional design really is kind of like kissing cousins with precision teaching. So if you are like a member of the Standard Acceleration Society, which, you know, you and I are, that's where you learn about a lot of instructional design. And, you know, like you have been a great advocate of precision teaching and instructional design, like, and showing a lot of videos around that, because like, that's where we had to make our own curriculum. We had to do that. And it comes from, again, like I said, that element compound analysis. So it kind of lives in both of those areas, and it goes back to like the rate as the fundamental unit of analysis with Skinner, and then like Susan Markle, who was a Skinner student. I think that like there's just like crossovers with OG and like, right. So I think it's just like everyone back then was kind of like doing the thing. And I'm sure that there's probably some like more specific connections, but it's like, also like Kent Johnson is like the link, right? And so he's bringing in instructional design as like one of the pillars of behavior analytic instructional design, and has a precision teaching school. So he shows how both exist. And so when precision teachers are like, well, I wanted to have this, but I also don't have any curriculum, then they go and seek out, okay, well, how do I do this well? And how do I arrange instruction beautifully? Then that's where they turn. And so that's how you find a lot of precision teachers then kind of morphed into instructional designers. And that's kind of like, that was kind of my path.
Hey, this is part of a speaker series for an upcoming conference called Stone Soup. You can learn more down below. They didn't pay me for any of this sort of stuff, but if you do register, it does help support my channel in a small way with a kickback. Thank you for considering. There's continuing education and such, and I'll see you in the next one. That's your Daily BA.